being on social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
How has that affected your business, and how do you walk a thin line? Because it's like social media influencers sometimes are not taken serious
Mm-hmm.
in like the real business world, right? So
Yeah.
how do you navigate that?
Yeah. So and that's hard, right? Because I think one of the mistakes I made was building the business brand on the platform, the Biz Lawyer, right? And now trying to transform it, because everybody do want to work with the Biz Lawyer, right? But I'm like educating them, and I speak in we and things like that. But I know there was a case recently where like a young lady who was like a public official was twerking in Tulum or something, and it was on social media, and she lost her seat as a public official. So for me, when I'm making decisions, I'm not just making decisions for Rosezena anymore. I'm not making decisions for just me and my kids. I'm making decisions for my team and 15 other families. And I'm also a brand representation of my client's brand, right? And so I don't, and I'm an attorney. So I hold that to a high standard. So, you're not going to, like, sometimes I love trap music though. Sometimes that's my weakness. Like,
it's your superpower.
It really is, because I grew up in that as well. Like, and I had to turn on Jay-Z, The Streets Is Watching, to remind people, like, what I'm saying? Like, people will really play games with you, and it like, so and it's situations where, you see things and you want to, react and respond, but it's like, that's not for this. That's not the platform for this. And I'm an 80s baby. I don't do things on social media, right? I don't, if I have issues with people or anything, I either want to talk to you so you can hear my tone, so you can feel me, right? Or I want to see you and we talk about it. I think a lot of times things just get heightened and elevated because of how people use social media. And so I just try to keep it professional and keep it cute, and that's it.
So when we talk about the other side of this, after we've got the trademark,
mm-hmm.
we're protecting the trademark, but trademark infringement is something that's real.
It's real.
So most people don't know the process of that, because it feels like every time you see something that's even remotely close to your business, it's like, we got to send a cease and desist.
Yeah.
What is that process like? How long does that take? Because it feels like it can go on for years.
Yeah. So what I say is, it's so very important that we watch our brands, right? Because I think if we react sooner to the infringement, sometimes the infringers will be more readily to go away. But if we take a while and we don't respond to them and we leave them for years to come, and they done built the brand that look like ours, now it's harder for them to take it down, right? So what I say, and we have a template that we give our clients, because we do charge for a cease and desist letter. It's $1,500 to send the opposite side, and we might have to go back and forth with them and things like that. But we have a template that kind of says, look, I see you using my brand. If you don't stop using my brand, I'm going to get my lawyers involved. It's a little nicer, but, trying to talk to people. What I don't recommend is sliding in people DM, talking about, look, that's my brand, take it down. Like, you got to be professional, because people are going to act accordingly to how you come, right? But also, too, what I would say is, for infringement, it's so very important that you react right away, because the lack of not doing anything or saying anything can tarnish your brand, and also you can possibly lose the rights to your brand. There was a company in California where they were like Fitbug or something like that, and then when Fitbit got really big, right? You remember Fitbits? Yeah. I don't know if they still around, but they tried to sue them for trademark infringement, and they were the first ones, but. And the government, the court said, well, where you been all this time? They said, well, we wanted to just see first if they were going to be successful. And they said, no, you can't wait till someone's successful to stop them. And they wasn't. And also there's a defense in where we call a lack of acquiescence. You consented to my use just because you didn't do anything.
So for your business, what's the next elevation? Where you see yourself going?
That's a good question. There is a place where I feel like, and I don't want to say it's like a sense of entitlement or anything like that, but I'm like, damn, we like ranked in the top 1% in the country.
How do you get these rankings? How does that work?
So they actually pull all the data from the USPTO and they pull it based on your success rate, right? So based on like how many, so there are other companies that you have mentioned, right? And they score you, right? And so they will score you based on 100% scale. So a lot of companies file a whole bunch of trademarks, but they don't get them successfully registered, right? So their score might be a 37, right? Whereas we're filing a lot of trademarks and our success rate is very high because we're getting them registered, right? So that's why we do the research, we do the consultation and things like that. And so, with that being said, and with us where we're ranking, you know, I was at a place where I was in a room with corporate counsel, because the one thing I think is troubling for a lot of Black business owners is sustainability. Right? How do you sustain your business? Right? And so I just told you guys, we try to charge a flat fee rate. And you know, they said, you know, Black women, we're the fastest growing entrepreneurs, but we're also the fastest growing to have our businesses shut down, right? My business has been open for 11 years, but sustainability is something that we do struggle with because we charge a flat fee rate and we represent clients who really are, they're just starting their business out. And so, you know, I was like, okay, so I'm in this room with corporate counsels in Chicago. It's like 150 councils in there represent big corporations, and you know, they're talking about diversity, and there's a panel of diversity inclusion. But on the panel, you know, Meta is represented, Capital One, I think it was a big clothing brand, and a law firm, and they're asking them questions of how do they make sure that they're getting diversity inclusion. And they talk about how they go hire the law firms or whatever, and they're making sure that the law firms actually have diverse associates or attorneys working within the law firm. And so I stood up and I said, well, hey, my name is Rosezena Pierce, and I am actually a Black female owner of a trademark law firm. And we are actually ranked in the top 1% of the country when it comes to trademarks. I said, you know, Capital One, I don't know how much your trademark portfolio budget is, but I know, you know, Visa has about a $35 million budget for their trademarks a year. I just wanted to know, like, how can our firm get business from a company like yours, right? And they said, well, you just got to come in room like this and meet people and network with people. But after that panel, everybody just walked out the door, right? So I think that's the struggle, you know, when it comes to sustainability of Black-owned businesses and things like that, being able to tap into, you know, different corporations in order to get money. So we're looking for corporate clients so that we can also help and provide better resources to our small business owners through government funding.